Hey guys, welcome to a brand new Funko Pop video. In today's video, I'm going to be doing something that's a little different than usual. While I usually make videos about buying Funkos or showcasing Funkos that already exist, today I'm going to be talking about some Funkos that don't exist but honestly really should. At first, this list was a little harder to make than I thought it would be. Then after thinking for a while, I actually came up with about 20 Funkos that haven't really been made that I really think should. So I'm only going to discuss 5 in this video, but if you guys want a second part, let me know in the comments. But before I get into the video, I want to give all the credit to this account on Instagram, since all the Funko concepts that I use in this video and in the thumbnail, they designed. They're really talented. Please go follow them on Instagram. I just want to make sure I give, him his credit, because I did not make those designs, obviously. And with that being said, let's get started at number 5 on this list. Starting the list at number 5 is the Shocker, iconic Spider-Man villain, first appearing The Amazing Spider-Man number 46 in 1967, and since then he has become a staple of Spider-Man's rogues gallery. He's had several adaptations in cartoons, video games, and even a small supporting villain role in the live-action movie Spider-Man Homecoming. But despite all this, we have never gotten any sort of Funko of any kind about this character. That to me is pretty unbelievable, considering just his popularity and overall how many Spider-Man Funkos they make, and then also the fact that we have gotten less popular Spider-Man characters and villains in Funko form, such as Toxin, who is like a sort of symbiote, freaking Morbius, and then Mr. Negative from the Insomniac Spider-Man game. And honestly, I would love to get this figure in a comic-accurate suit, but I also wouldn't mind seeing him in his Insomniac Spider-Man PS4 outfit, since I think that's a pretty cool, a little more modern take on the character. Regardless of what suit they put him in for the Funko, I just hope we get some version of this character soon, and I imagine we will, because like I said, he is a pretty popular Spider-Man villain, and they make so many Spider-Man Funkos a year, they're bound to hit this character eventually. So next on the list, at the number 4 spot, is Ventress from Star Wars, specifically from the Clone Wars. Ventress was first introduced, why are you staring at me? Ventress was first introduced in the 2D animated original Clone Wars microseries, but her main fandom, in my opinion, came from her role as the antagonist turned somewhat anti-hero in the 3D animated Clone Wars TV show. In the 3D Clone Wars show, Ventress plays a pretty big role, especially in some of the bigger arcs in the later seasons of the Clone Wars. So, given that show's popularity and, like I said, the role that she plays, it's pretty surprising we've never gotten a Funko of this character. I'm sure one day soon we'll get some sort of Funko of Ventress, but until then, all we can do is sit and wait and hope Funko realizes the potential and fan base of this pretty cool Star Wars character. Coming in at number 3 on the list, a little different from the past two, is Megamind. Now, everybody, for the most part, if you're on the internet, you know Megamind. He's a beloved animated character who serves as a villain turned hero in DreamWorks' 2010 movie titled Megamind. A lot of teens and young adults, including myself, grew up with this movie and view it as a sort of underrated DreamWorks masterpiece that really didn't get the credit it deserved when it was released in theaters. Of course, it's also become a source of quite a few memes, which just boosted its popularity even more among people of my generation. Despite all this, Funko has unfortunately not given this character any sort of Funko figure, no pops, sodas, or anything like that, which is really a bummer. And honestly, I'm not sure if this one is as likely to be made as the first two on this list. And the first reason I think of this is because obviously Megamind is not as popular as a Star Wars character or a Spider-Man character, and you probably never will be. But the second reason is because there was just a Megamind sequel and TV show released this year, and we still didn't get anything. Now granted, those recent Megamind projects... Alright. Where are you going? What is this? Okay, I'm gonna put you on the ground. Granted, those recent Megamind projects were pretty underwhelming. The movie especially was just blasted online with criticism, and it rightfully should have been, because it was just a horrible excuse for a sequel and just a terrible cash grab to set up a pretty mediocre animated TV show. But regardless of that, it still did bring the character back into the spotlight, but it would have been the perfect excuse to revisit that first movie and make Funkos based off of it. The only thing giving me hope that we'll one day get a Funko based off this movie is that recently Funko has revisited another popular DreamWorks animated movie from our childhood with the recently released Shrek line of Pops. However, you also have to keep in mind Megamind isn't as popular as Shrek, but nonetheless, I'm still going to be hopeful that one day we'll get a Megamind Funko Pop. Falling into the number 2 spot on the list is Starkiller from the Force Unleashed video game series. The first Force Unleashed game released back in 2008, and ever since then it's developed a huge fan base, including myself as well as my brother, because we would play it all the time, just because of its amazing story, its great gameplay, then of course the characters, especially the protagonist of Starkiller. If you don't know, Starkiller starts off as Vader's apprentice, then after he's betrayed by Vader, he goes on to essentially spark the organization of the Rebel Alliance. That's a very, very basic explanation of the story. But it's a really cool video game. If you haven't played it, I encourage you to try it out. But a Starkiller Funko would be so cool because there's so many possibilities with this figure. You wouldn't just have to make one because he's got so many cool powers, so many cool costumes. It would honestly be so awesome if we could just get one, but if we could get multiple with him using different powers and wearing different suits, it would be like a dream come true for so many Star Wars fans. And I really hope we can get a figure of this guy soon. Unfortunately, this figure is a lot less likely than the others previously stated on this list, and that's primarily because whenever Disney bought out Star Wars, they kind of canceled the third game, and so, I don't know how eager Disney would be to make merchandise of a game series that they canceled, because, even though Funko is making the figures, Disney still owns like the merchandising rights for Star Wars. However, there is still hope because recently Funko has been making a lot of figures from the Legends Knights of the Old Republic video game series, which is obviously very similar. It's an old game, pre-Disney. It's, Legends, it's not canon, but they have still been getting a lot of Funko, so maybe one day we will get a Starkiller Funko Pop. And finally, at the top of our list, a figure almost any superhero fan would want to pick up. It's Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man in the symbiote suit from Spider-Man 3, released in 2007. So, as everyone knows, in the third and final movie of his trilogy, Tobey Maguire eventually dons the symbiote costume, and even though it's not the most comic-accurate symbiote suit because it's basically just a recolor of his red and blue suit with some minor logo changes, it's pretty undeniable that it is a really cool suit and it is super iconic, and I have no doubt in my mind that if Funko made this, it would be an ultimate success. It would fly off the shelves. Almost every Spider-Man fan would want it because even people like me who don't like Spider-Man 3 that much, and I definitely think the suit could have been made a little better if it was a little more comic accurate, a little more unique, I would still get that Funko because it's just pretty cool. Obviously, there's been a bunch of memes about the symbiote suit from Spider-Man 3, and so I feel like this would be an instant success of a Funko Pop. I feel like the only reason this hasn't been made must be because of some sort of feud between Disney and Sony, because Sony owns the rights to that movie, but Disney owns the merchandising rights. If you don't know, we had a similar issue with the original X-Men movies, where we didn't get any Funkos for those movies until after Disney bought back Fox and bought back the X-Men. So maybe it's something similar, and they don't want to make merchandise for movies that they don't own, you know what I mean? Which is a little petty, but I honestly can't think of another reason why Funko wouldn't make this figure, because it would definitely be a home run, for sure. I hope one day we do get this figure, and it's definitely pretty likely that we will, just because of how many Spider-Man Funkos they make, and what a guaranteed success this figure would be. But until then, all we can do is hope that one day we'll get a Tobey Maguire symbiote Spider-Man Funko. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. Thank you guys so much for watching till the end, and I really hope you enjoyed it. Once again, all the credit for these Funko concepts goes to this account on Instagram. The only reason I'm not reading out the username is because I'm not really sure how to pronounce it. It looks like Nathros Funkos or something along those lines. Either way, check out their Instagram. It is really cool, and it definitely inspired some of the, like I said, 20-something Funkos on my list that they need to make. So definitely check him out. And if you enjoyed the video, I really appreciate a like. And feel free to subscribe if you want to see more Funko content from me. Also, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Tell me, which Funko Pop do you think should be made? Is there any character, maybe from a more niche medium than like Star Wars and, Marvel, that Funko might not ever touch, that maybe you would really like to see? Just go ahead, comment it down below. Maybe if I do make a second part of this video, I can include it. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.